Well, hello, and welcome back. And yes, it's time to pop a top, my friends. Brought to you by our sponsor, but not really our sponsor, not really brought to you by Mountain Dew. Let's open focus. Okay, so let me explain what I got here on the screen and what we're going to be doing. Oh, and I'm AJ O'Neill, and this is Beyond Code Live. Yeah, okay. Anyway, uh, so this was just I was just on a renewing a subscription for some software, and this was the page that came up, and it has the option of credit card or PayPal, and then go to PayPal, and I think that just kind of supports. If you want to if people are going to enter in their credit card, you want to capture their credit card because you're going to make more money that way. But if if you give them the option for PayPal, then if they have PayPal, it's an easier experience for them. So you make more money by making it easier to give you money. Anyway, so recap from last time. Basically, this file right here says it all. This class was generated by Braintree SDK Generator. So the reason that the API is so confusing is in fact because it is generated, and so you have really kind of dumb things going on, such as having a setter for a request body that isn't necessary at all, and other things. And then the the documentation is not tuned to the languages that the SDK is exported in. The documentation is made very generic, and that's why I had so much trouble traversing all of the different pages, because so from going forward, I'm not going to bother using the SDK and trying to figure out how to use the SDK. I'm just going to use the REST API documentation, because it is much easier to just look at the curl and figure that out than it is to try to dig through to figure out how to use the SDK for the same thing. It's just it's troublesome. Anyway, there is. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Quit out of that. So I want to get to the point where I actually get on the live site and actually make a payment, even if it's just to myself, and then I guess I'll have to refund it. But I want to go ahead and try to make a subscription, and I'm actually going to try to make a subscription. Oh, what is this? Customers who integrate with subscriptions before blah blah can reference. Okay, so this is the current how we do this. So, by the way, PayPal bought Braintree, and apparently the V2 PayPal API is the Braintree API, and before that was the, I guess, PayPal API from before. Okay, so I'm wondering if it's absolutely required. It makes sense that you'd have to have a product to create a subscription. That makes sense. Now, the problem is that we're going to have to create a product in multiple places. We have to create one on PayPal. We have to create one potentially in our credit card gateway service. I think that the NMI software, which is what most of the payment gateway products seem to resell, I think it has product information. So I'm not going to worry too much about getting this. Well, I have to make it specific to PayPal because that's the one I'm working with first, but I just this is gonna exist in other places too. Okay, so I'm not sure why it has. I don't know what image URL is about. I don't know if that's necessary or not. We'll find out. I think we're gonna create one of these. Yeah, from now on, I'm just going to try to find the curl examples and go from there, because I think that doing it otherwise is kind of silly. All right, so in here, I'm just going to create a sub.js, and we're going to start this out with use strict, of course. Let request equals require at root request. And then let's just translate this over, shall we? So we're going to do request method is post, which would be the default as long as it has a body anyway. we're going to have let's PayPal. Ooh. See, like the question is it lowercase or is it uppercase? I'm going to call this base URL. I'm going to go with lowercase because that kind of, as a product name, it makes more sense to, you can't half camel case a product name. I know that if you're going to title case it, it's capital P, capital PAL, but yeah, it just seems too weird to camel case it that way. Anyway, wait, V1 catalogs products. Is this current? Is this current? Let me double check here. Is this? I think I got here. I don't remember how I got here, but I think this is. This says it's V1, not V2, and maybe it's not included in the SDK for that reason. Anyway, so base URL is going to be this, and then we will have this will be our URL. Boop, 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 boop. And then we're going to do PayPal base URL here. And then, yeah, this makes sense. I don't think we actually need to do that because we're going to be sending JSON anyway. Yeah, so we're good just to take this and put it here. So this function, subscriptions, this is really going to be what is this, products? So products dot create. It's going to be this function. I'm going to give it a name just for the sake of giving it a name. So we're not going to need that. We are going to need, however, what is it? Auth. I think it's user. And then this is going to be, maybe we'll have a PayPal, let's see, PayPal.init equals, the camel casing of that, because of the branding of it, it's weird. I guess I should do it this way. And then I guess I should take ID and secrets. And then we'll just do PayPal.id equals ID. Secret equals secret. I'm just kind of thinking of this as a way to give myself be able to, I'm just kind of thinking a little bit ahead, maybe too far ahead of what this should look like as I expose it to myself. And I do want to have a better way. Let's see, we're done with that one. No, we want this because of this. So we're gonna need user is gonna be, we're gonna do PayPal.id, and then pass is gonna be secret. And then merchant generated ID. So this is going to have an ID. And that's actually optional. You don't have to have the ID, but we're going to go with let headers equal this if ID. Then we're going to do headers PayPal request ID. And I think it's called request ID because it's not guaranteed that that's the ID that you're going to get. I guess there could be an error, but it will be a soft error. And so yeah. That would keep going. All right, so there we are. There's our create subscription. And I guess really we should have ops here. I guess we could have ID, name, description, type, category, image URL, home URL. And then we could just give examples for each of these. I think that that's more appropriate. And then they won't be anything. Whoops. And part of me wants to do this a little bit different. We'll see. Because the downside of doing it this way is that if the API changes, then I have to go change this code to allow some new thing. And that's one of the benefits of JavaScript, is that it's flexible. So part of me wants to just nest each of these things under ops and then call it good. Wait, hold on. Was that? They were both called video streaming service? I guess they were. They were both called video streaming service. All right, well, so be it. Okay. Just 1 second here. Whoops. Oh, whoops. Hitting the wrong button on something. Okay, there we go. Good. The chat that you can see here wasn't loaded properly here. So now that is loaded. So I will see them. I won't have to look at this little tiny thing for me that's a tiny thing, but I'll see it. So if you got any questions or comments, feel free to ask them while we're going along the way here. Would love to know who you are, where you're from, etc. All right. So now we have our products.create function. And then we should get something back. We've got all the examples here. Yeah, so this looks pretty good. The one thing that I want to change about this, and I think I'm going to do this tomorrow as part of some other work that I need to get done for a client, is I want to have a way that if the request is not doesn't have the right status code, that it generates an error. But for right now, I'm just going to put in here must 201. And we're going to make this an async function. We're going to take a request. Actually, I guess it doesn't technically need to be async, so we'll leave that off there. So we're going to take a response object, and if rest.statuscode, let's see, 201 is not equal to rest.statuscode, then we're going to throw a new error. But let's do it this way. So bad response. So we don't know why there was a bad response. I'm just going to take this and put the resp on there. One thing that I also need to do is make sure that the API keys and stuff get taken out of this. I'm just kind of curious right now if somebody else has made a PayPal SDK that is sane. I'm just going to look. Because the one that PayPal generates is just so bad that after combing through the document, it doesn't, whoops. It doesn't give you any benefit. Shared config. Okay, this is all PayPal. This is all at PayPal stuff. SDK logos. Oh, that was one of the things that I was looking for, was the buttons. I wonder if the buttons are in here somewhere. Simple basket and product manager. That's interesting. I want to check that out. I'm just kind of curious there. Oh, hello and welcome. So I'm just a slight tangent, as always. I'm just checking out. What is this? Eh. Does it keep track of does it integrate with a session somehow? Is this meant to be for the browser? What am I missing? PayPal node, order craft. I'll take a look at it later. I don't need that right now. I was just kind of curious as to if somebody else is, because the official PayPal SDK for Node is auto generated, and it's layers of abstraction on top of layers of abstraction for the purpose of basically making an SDK that will work in Java with class factories and all that sort of stuff, rather than just being simple and straightforward. And so yeah, I've got the product create right here. I'll test that out in a second. I think this should work as is. I'm going to have to do require .env in here as well. And then was it .config, and I'm going to give it both because I like to have because I do these screencasts, I like to have a .env and a .env.secret so that I can edit most of the stuff on screen in the .env and then have the secrets in the .env.secret. Maybe I should change that around and have a .env.public or something to be a little safer. Hello, welcome. Feel free to tell me who you are, where you're from, what brought you to the stream today. In any case, let's see, sandbox URL. For right now, I'm gonna change this up just a touch here, and we're gonna do PayPal base URL equals PayPal.sandbox URL. I'll implement a way to not have that be the case, but for right now, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, and now we'll change this to that. Great. So I think I'm at the point where I could create a product and test it. So let's go ahead and try that out. Should just be able to take this right here. I'm just going to put it at the bottom for the sake of a quick test. And, oh, wait. Wait. There was something that I was trying to do. What was that? Must 201? Yes. So, sorry. I need to make something that will throw an error if the response status code is not 201. I think that's what it said it has to be. Where does it show us what the response code? It does not say what the 201 created. Yes. And I wonder what happens if we run it twice, because they talk about idempotence, and I don't know if it's fully. So with idempotence, meaning that if you do the same thing twice, you only get one sum total result. So if I create the exact same product 2 times, it's not going to create 2 of that product. It's just going to create the 1 product, or potentially update it. So I'm not quite clear on what they mean by that. Because typically if something's created, you return, well, typically you just return 200. But some APIs like to return 201 to say it was created. Or there's another status code, I don't remember off the top of my head, for no change, meaning everything was successful, but it was an idempotent request. Didn't result in a change, but we'll see. So if 201 is not the status code, then bad response. And then I got to remember, is it status code or is it just status? I think it's status code. In any case, we'll throw a bad response. We'll put the response on the error so we can inspect it later, and then we'll return the response. And then as part of this right here, we will do .then must 201. So now that will convert it into an error if it doesn't return correctly. And then here, let's go ahead and give this an ID of test product 001. And the name will be test product number 1. And the description will be a great widget for gizmos and gadgets of all ages. Type. Okay, type is specific. I would like to find the documentation for what this is, because we should be able to say, so we have product.types, and it can be service or it can be something else, but I don't know what else it can be. Oh, whoops, that should probably be product rather than products. Yeah, let me change all instances of products to product real quick, because I like to have my package names singular, because product.create makes sense. So type needs to be, actually we could do this a couple of different ways. We could do product.types. I actually think I would prefer to do it this way. And what we'll do is, it's in other languages this is called a symbol, when the value of a thing is the thing. JavaScript doesn't call it a symbol, but I really did like the way that Ruby did it, where if you did, well, you wouldn't have done it in all caps because Ruby doesn't do it that way, but if you had done this, well, I don't know exactly how it goes, but yeah, its string value and its real value were the same. Never mind. It's down the rabbit hole. Okay, so that looks better, because then we can do product if we wanted to. I don't really want to do it this way, but we could do product.types.service, and then our type linter could catch this. I don't have this project set up with type linting as of the moment. And then category is going to have to be a thing that is an enumerated set as well. So we've got types and we've got categories, and categories can be, I think software is one. I think physical good is another. I think physical good. And so, and of course we could also, well, for type linting, I think it's actually nicer to be explicit in this way. But instead of having everything listed twice, we could do it in a different way where we still end up with the same result without having, well, we have the opportunity to typo, so we could do this actually. So we could do something like that. Well, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. But we could just iterate over the keys of the object and assign the value of the object to be its key, which I think, let's call this enumify. And we're going to pass it an object, and we're going to do object.keys, object.forEach, and then we're going to say object k equals k. So we could do this. We could just say enumify product.types, enumify product.categories. And then this does prevent us from, it's not as clear. I don't know if I like it, but it does prevent us from potentially having typos. I'm going to comment that out. I'm not actually going to do that. I think it's getting too fancy. Clear is better than clever. I'm not likely to have a typo there. So let's go back to that. That's clear. And clear is better than clever. Okay. So I do want to find the documentation. Let's see if I can do this. PayPal product type software. Maybe I should put API in there, developer, catalog products, subscription integration. And then I also want to say category, and then physical good software. Oh, and I did this wrong. I'm going to open up a different tab for this. Oh, excuse me. This would be product type was service. But I don't, this is one of the frustrating things is I don't know where service. Okay, here we go. Digital physical service suite. So let's go with that. And we can put them in alphabetical order. Digital. There we go. And then this is better than the official SDK. Well, I put official in air quotes, but I should put SDK in air quotes. Stephen Anderson. You were on the stream before, I think. You're a return visitor, aren't you? Because you have the same name as one of my neighbors, and so at first I said, "Are you one of the Stevens I know?" Well, welcome back. Yeah, so the PayPal API, it's a little, like I've been saying, yes, it is a good choice. Well, so I'm ADHD, and the caffeine supposedly helps me to focus, so I'll load up on caffeine now. And ADHD doesn't mean what people think it means, by the way. I probably should clarify that when I say I'm ADHD, because it has nothing to do with what, well, it does, but it's the YouTube channel How to ADHD explains it fairly well in lots of different examples. Okay, what I'm trying to get to, I've got too many tabs open. I need to close some of them out. Okay, there's the catalog, and then setting up PayPal account, service, and then what was I think it's physical good. Physical. Is this category, request body category, product type? Okay. Category. Whoa. Holy cajolies. All right. I don't want to include all that stuff because that is not important to me, but there should be another place where this stuff is listed, or a way to deep link into this specifically. Okay. Documented at, let's see, documented under categories at kind of want to, yeah, there we go. That's good. Okay. Gosh. So I guess here I would only put the types of things that I am personally interested in. It seems that there should be a place where this list exists, that it's in a JSON or CSV or something. Or a table at least, not just a bulleted list. Although I guess we could still scrape it from a bulleted list. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. I bet I can grab this. We can probably search for, let's see. What have we got? So code category, then we go up to div, and then we go down to li. Is that? We go up to div, hold on. Oh no. All right, so here's what we got to do. I don't know if this is going to work. But I would like to get that list and have it in a more easy to digest form. So what we're going to do is we're going to find all of these and we're going to for each over them. This is going to be slightly inefficient. Actually, we're going to do a find. So this is going to be, I always like to use var when I'm in the console because you don't want to let, because if you let, then you can't redeclare it. And I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I don't know what to make of all this mess. Okay, so this would be the cat. I'm going to call it cat. And then this is going to be L because we don't know what L it is. And then if L dot inner text dot to lowercase is, let's say, category. Then we can return. I don't know if you're supposed to return true. Return L. It makes sense to return L because it'd be nice if you could tell it, maybe I want to find something, but maybe I want to find a child of it. That's not functional, maybe, but it would be more functional in another way. Okay, so do we get back cat? No, we do not. Okay. How about this one? Let's try this. Now, do we get it? Yeah, we do. Great. Okay, cool. So that gives us our category. And then we need to go, so we do cat dot closest. We're going to look for the div. And then we're going to do query selector. And we're going to find the, actually, we're going to do, what is it, next sibling? That will, and then from there, is it, let me figure out what I forget what methods we have, but there's something like that. Next element sibling. What? Really? No. Hold on. And this, okay, this closest is going to be that. Oh, no, we don't have to do closest anymore. Okay, that's part of, whoops. We don't have to do closest because that's, no, we do. We do. Closest div, yeah. So we should have, oh. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Ah! Okay, cool. So we're almost there now. So now we do query selector, and we should be able to find all of the LIs. And then inside, we'll do query selector all. And then if we for each over those, we're going to find elements. Query selector, and we can get the code, the first code out of there, inner text. So if we do console.log, like so, I think that's going to, yeah, there we are. Boom. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to put this in the code because if we wanted to update this at some point, I'm not going to put the full list of categories in here. But I'm just going to put a note, you know. Let's see. To get the full, to scrape the full list from the site. And I guess this is Node, so maybe it doesn't matter if we have a list a million long. Yeah, so let's say, you know, it really doesn't matter if we have a list a million long. I'm going to do var categories. We'll do this. And then we will, let's see, we'll do categories.push. And then what do we do after that? I guess we do categories.json.stringify. And then we do console.log. There we go. And then I can copy it. Cool. So what I'm going to do with this then is I'm actually going to put it in a separate file. I'm going to call this categories.js. And then I'm going to mark that here like so. Let me pull from here. And we'll hopefully be able to test this pretty soon. All right, this documented. There we go. Okay, and so I'm just going to take this, module.exports equals, I think I'm going to do one better. So here we go. I'm going to copy this. Man, that's just too long. It's just too many things. But here's what we're going to do anyway. Is we're going to do I'm going to use the reduce trick. Again, sometimes, I don't know. Let categories equal. Oops. Okay, categories.reduce. So this is the reduce trick to create an object. It's probably a bad idea. I probably shouldn't do it because clear is better than clever, but shiny, I don't know. So I'm going to say cats and cat. So cat equals cat. Oops. Name. Let's call this object maybe. Object. There, that's more clear. That way we know we're not dealing with the internet and all the tubes. The cats in the tubes. Oh wait, is there... Oh, okay, I thought it was giving me a spell check problem. All right, so categories, reduce that, and then we could do this. We could do fs equals require fs. fs dot write file sync. Well, no. Do I want to do it this way? Yeah, I think I do. I think this will work out the way that I want it to. Whoops. JSON. So we're gonna call this categories.json, and then we're not. No, not function. What was I thinking? JSON.stringify. And then let's do this. Let categories map equal. There we go. Categories map null 2. And then we want to make sure this is UTF-8 just to be sure. Okay. So a little bit of a 3-step process there. Whoops. Object name. So this should be the accumulator, and then, we need to return object at the end. There we go. So now we should have categories.json, where everything has its own, is itself. And then I'm going to go back into my little subdilio, and I'm going to say product.categories equals require categories.json. Okay. And then I'm just going to comment this out. But I do kind of want to put the ones that we're most interested in here. So I'm going to check again. Whoops. For categories.json. And let's see. We've got academic software, computer hardware and software, game software, general software, OEM software. Yeah, we could probably trim this down to very few categories that are actually important. Physical good. Digital media. Books, movies, music. Yeah, so I would be interested to see service. So software as a service. The software as a service would be type equals service, category equals software. That's software as a service. That's really all we need to worry about. Out of these categories, whoops, I did not mean to do that. Let me undo that. This is probably all we really need. And then maybe digital game as well. Is it digital game or digital games? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. I just wanted to have something there as a placeholder. Okay, so this, I don't need to worry about that anymore. And then, yeah, we'll deal with that for now. So now what this means is that when I go to check, what I can do this check right here. This is why I was building this out, which I probably didn't say, because one of the things about ADHD people, and maybe people in general, because a lot of these claims about ADHD people, I don't know if I agree with, because I think if you just select from a sample size and say all these people have these things in common, well, it could be universal. But anyway, is nonlinear thinking, that we think in pieces. The way we think looks more like a torrent than a list, and we have lots of pieces and they're all there, and when they collect, then it's a full thought. But in the middle, in our own heads, we just have the thoughts or wherever they fit at the time while we're building it out. Okay, so if not product.type, then that might be the better way to do that. Does include work on objects? Let's see, because I'd prefer to use something. Object.in. Do we have includes? What do we have on an object these days? No, an array has includes. Yeah, this is the appropriate way to do it. I just know the type linter, when I do add type linting to this, it's going to complain about that because it's an enum, but obviously I don't want to do a switch statement on all of those. Okay. So another way that I could do this, which would be okay for the type linter, would be, let's say, type names equals object.keys product.type names. And then I could do type names includes. Anyway, I just kind of like the idea of being able to check a little sooner rather than having to do the API request and have it get rejected. But then also, it makes sense to say, well, maybe just issue a warning here, because what if the API adds another type? I don't know. I guess it also makes sense to just have this thing up. I'm overthinking it. I need to just let it go. Unknown product type. And then let's go ahead and put this in there. Type. So I'll just do that for now. But that could become an error. I reserve the right to make this an error. Now, the sad thing about this is that includes could be really fast. We need one thing that we don't have in JavaScript that's too bad is a native binary search implementation. Because that's something that includes, do we? I don't want to look it up right now. Category names. So I'll do the same thing here that I did here. We'll just do category names and category names. There we go. Whoops. No, this is wrong. This should be types, duh, and this should be categories. There we go. We would have found that out on the first run, so no big deal. Okay. So there's a way to these. So again, what was this? Physical good. Wait, hold on. Which was which? And this one, okay, so this one is service physical digital. There we go. So this actually makes a lot more sense. Just restrict it down to those and you're good. It's either software as a service or a physical goods service. Yeah, there we go. Great. And then the image URL. I don't know if this is necessary. I hope that it's not. And then home URL. So category. So we should be able to do product.categories. And then software. There we go. And that prevents typos. Although I would not, anybody that wanted to just put in the string, I wouldn't blame them. Image URL, let's leave this undefined. And then home URL, let's also leave this undefined and just see what happens when we go to create this. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to call this func test. And we're going to say if require.main is equal to module, then we're going to run test. And let's make this async. There we go. Async. All right, and await, and then we'll just put a dot catch here and say something bad happened. Console.error. Bad happened. Yeah, console. I really got to get better at using tab in Vim. I feel so dumb that I don't use it most of the time, and I could. As soon as you type the first couple letters, you can just hit tab. That's one of my great failings as a human. And then if it's good, then let's just go ahead and print out all of what we get. Now, I don't want it to print out the headers in this case. So this is another thing where function sanitize or sanitize resp dot to JSON. So first of all, we're going to have resp equals resp dot to JSON, and then we're going to do resp dot headers, and we're going to take authorization, and we're just going to go undefined. Well, I guess we could do object.keys headers dot for each function, and then let's say k for key, and then we're going to do if k dot to lowercase dot match, and then I think I should be able to get to match a bunch of things here. So let's say it matches auth or cookie or token, and let's make this a I match or key. So if it matches any of those things, then let's just say resp dot headers k equals redacted. There we go. And then return the response. And then we can call, we should probably call sanitize before anything else, really. So where was that must 201? Because we want the errors to be sanitized as well. And this is something that I'm going to add directly into sanitize. The at root request, I'm going to add some sort of sanitization option where you give it a function or something like that where it just redact. I guess technically that would be an interceptor, a response interceptor is the popular term for that. Anyway, so with that done, now we can console.log response. And json.stringify response null 2. And yeah, so we should be good to test this now. Let's, I'm going to call, instead of sub, I'm going to call this create product.js, even though it's not quite there yet. Unknown protocol null. Let's see where that is stemming from. 87. PayPal.base URL. And then, okay. Oh, I never called PayPal init. That's my problemo. Okay, so I need to call PayPal init and give it process.env.paypal client ID and similarly client secret. All right, let's try now. Whoops. All right, sweet. And let's see how well this did in terms of, did it redact headers? Oh. I guess what I actually meant to do there was, let's see, request. Okay, good. That was already redacted. Not quite in the way I expected, though. Huh. Okay. Connection close. PayPal debug ID. This is awesome, by the way. Everybody should do this. Have a random ID for the things that go in your logs. So that way, if you need to contact support, You can say, here's my debug ID for the request. And vice versa. Okay, so it did not like the ID that I gave it because it came back with prod blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it got status code 201. It got links. It was totally okay with not having an image or a URL. Apparently, it went through 2 varnish caches. And I think edge control is a new layer of caching because we have cache control and we have expires and now we have edge control, and then let's see, Xcache. Interesting. Oh, that's me again. Oh, so they've got these. I guess these are the names of the PayPal servers that are doing the caching. That's interesting. Interesting kind of debug information that comes back in the headers there. Okay, so auth came back null. Interesting that it came back null, but that's good. Okay. And I probably should set up this to be, I think if I publish this library, I'm going to call it @root PayPal, I think, or @root PayPal -checkout. Okay, so it looks good. Now, if we run this again, it gives us the same thing again. It gives us 201 and it gives us back the same exact ID. So here's a question. What if I call it test product 001? Is that, so what I did here was I changed its name from test product to test product 001, or test product number 1 to test product number 001. And then what if I, instead of a great widget, I do the greatest widget? I wonder if that will do, I wonder if it's effectively a put, that it's doing a set and replace. That's what I want to see. Let's see, where was it before? Oh, okay. So now it has, no, that is not effectively a put. So if we want to, let's see, was this catalog products? Yeah, so we want to get a list of products. All right. Well, anyway, I created a product. So I'm going to call that good for now and move on. I wish that they would have given the headers as well. Okay, let's go all the way back up here to the top. Subscriptions integration. So I created a product, good. Got that done. Unfortunately, because the name of the product was different and the description was different, it did create a new product. But I want to see something else. So what if I just change the name and not the description? Am I going to get something different again? Let's see. Yep, I do. But if I run that again, I still get the same thing. Whoa. What? That's weird. Okay, so it's giving me a different thing each time anyway. I think it's because I'm using the same ID. What if I do this? Now I'm giving it a different ID. So 9657 blah blah blah. And what if I do this one? Do I get it again? Nope. Okay, so it's just gone cray now. I guess too many things are the same. So test product 10. Let's try this. Maybe I didn't get the same ID the first time and I just scrolled wrong. Yeah, because it looks like I'm getting a different ID every time. So the whole bit about helps with idempotency, I don't know if that's true anymore. Optional, and if passed, helps identify idempotent requests. So I'd have to look at updating a product. I'd like it if there were a set product, so I don't have to worry about adding and updating. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go on to the plan. So plan is a one-time operation. And again, I'm just going to check real quick. Node.js, PayPal, plan. Maybe there's another Node SDK. Okay, so apparently there is another Node SDK for this. But it's, okay, this is just straight up Braintree documentation. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Okay. Oh no, they've launched a GraphQL API. Why would they do that? Just multiply the complexity. But then again, maybe, if it's already this complex, could it get any more complex? All right, let's forget that. Their documentation it's all there. It's not, something about it's not right. Okay. Ah, yes. And I am interested to know where we get the, let's see, PayPalObjects.com. Where do we get the buttons from? PayPal checkout button. Yeah. These are the buttons that I want. I wonder, I'm going to add that to my README real quick. So let's go back to the README and buttons. And I am going to want those. Really, I want the checkout with PayPal button. That's what I want. I don't want this button. I want the checkout with PayPal button. I'm going to do one more quick search for that, and then I'm going to go back to creating the subscription plan. Okay. Ah, no. No. Where's the brand thing that has the buttons? Okay, this doesn't have... Okay, so maybe they got rid of their button. They no longer have the checkout with PayPal button. Now it's a button that just says PayPal. Okay, whatever. All right, okay, I'm done with that. Let me close these out. Close, 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 close. And I wonder what this require. PayPal REST SDK? Sure. Let's go back to NPM real quick. PayPal. PayPal subscriptions. PayPal subscription. PayPal Node SDK. Is this even from PayPal? Nope. Oh, okay, yeah, this makes a lot more sense. Billing plans, cool. Create. Wait. Oh, interesting. I wonder why he forked it. Oh, yeah, because this is complicated. Ton of stuff there. Whatever. Okay, I'm going back now. I'm going back. We created product. Now it's time to create the plan. V1 billing plans. Oh yeah, this is something I wanted to know. Does this actually... What's the difference between these two? Does this actually... cause the renewal to happen automatically? Oh, trial period. That's good. Okay. Oh, interesting. I wonder how the trial stuff works. Because typically I'd want to go, I say 14 days, 14-day trial. But I don't think that really matters for this, because you can give somebody a free trial in your application and not have them go through the checkout process. Okay. Wait, isn't the subscription REST API what we're looking at? Yeah, we are looking at the subscription REST API. I'm so confused. Let's see. I wonder if I can see my list of subscriptions. I'm going to try this login to dashboard thing. I'm going to open that on the other screen real quick. And I'm going to see if I can see my Sandbox subscriptions. It seems that, let's see, sandbox.paypal.com. And let me log in as my business, my Sandbox business. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, so here's my Sandbox account. That's all fake data. So I just went to sandbox.paypal.com, and in the previous one, if you log in from here, if you log in from the developer.paypal.com, then under my apps and credentials, my account, Sandbox accounts, under Sandbox accounts, you have what they call the personal.example.com, which is someone that can buy from you, and then business.example.com, and you can log in with business.example.com and you can see your business view. But if you log in with personal.example.com, then you can see what the fake person's account looks like. Okay, so let me see what's activity. All transactions. Huh. I guess I have to mark the order as shipped at some point. Huh. Okay. All right, so where this is what I want to know. Where's my list of products? I'm assuming print labels, view all items ready to ship. Okay. John Doe. The sender of this payment is verified. Hilarious. Mark as shipped. Okay. There must be some way that I can get into seeing. Maybe I can't. Let's try App Center. That looks like a storefront. So maybe what it means is the app, the storefront. Now request money, print shipping labels, PayPal checkout, invoicing, PayPal buttons. Point of sale, selling social. Okay. How about products? Maybe there's not a UI for this. PayPal products. Add product. Hey. Interesting. Subscription ID. You can assign an item a unique ID to make it easier for tracking. But how do I view my subscriptions? PayPal, view, list, view merchant products. Oh, PayPal, view my product list. I just assumed there was going to be a UI for this, and maybe there isn't. Go to my saved buttons. Billing cycle. Huh. Yes? Yes, sweetie? I guess so. Okay. I'm a little confused. Where do I manage inventory? Let me say manage inventory. Yes, sweetie? What would you like? Oh, you want to watch a movie?
Yeah.
All right. I might. I'll be right back. All right, sweetie. Come on. Hey, Mommy. Addie wants to watch a movie again. Okay.
I want to watch a movie.
Mommy says no. And Daddy says no. Sorry, sweetie. Cry nicely. Cry nicely. You're not going to get what you want from crying. I'm going to go back in here. Okay, and I'm back. So, maybe PayPal doesn't even have this stuff. Maybe I was just expecting... I mean, it seems like it doesn't. Okay. Item button creator. When you use this method to generate code, you use step 2 to set up your inventory. Once you generate the code, blah, 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 blah. Interesting. Okay, well, whatever. Choose your button type. Track inventory. Quantity in stock. Can customers buy an item when it's sold out? Customize. Well, I don't know what all that's about, but seeing that it's CGI bin, I'm assuming this must be based on the old V1 API anyway. All right. So we're gonna go. I guess like cancel out of here, and we're gonna look at. We created a product. Now we're gonna create a plan. You can associate multiple plans to a product. All right, so I'm just going to copy this whole thing. And then I'm going to see what we can do here. Let plan equals, and then plan dot create equals function create plan, and then we're just going to paste all this curl in here, and then this of course is going to become request method post. I wonder if there's an update. I wish it was. Remember, subscriptions REST API. I just wish they had the API documentation. API requests. Okay, maybe this is the big reference. Oh, okay, here we go. Do we have subscription? What? Plans. Okay, here we go. This is better. Much better, much better. Now we have the area where it's all defined. But again, I wish that they had this in a table, and whatever. Okay, we're going to list plans. Create a plan. Okay, so we do have the ability to update plans as well. Great. Just 1 second. I'm going to reply to a message. Should be quick. What? Oh, it's not on the platform that I thought it was. Hold on just a second. Okay. Yeah, it's just gonna be weird. I'm a little bit confused by this because it almost seems that there's no point in creating. I wonder if these are entirely optional. I think that they might be, but we'll find out in just a second. So what if I just create a subscription without selecting a plan? Can we do that? No, it has to have a plan ID, and a plan has to be associated with a product. Okay, but there's going to have to be a product and a plan in my database that I'm somehow going to have to keep in sync with the PayPal database. And so I guess okay, let me think about this for a second. So I guess my database is going to have a plan. It's going to have products, plans, and then my plan is probably going to have PayPal ID and then maybe another type of ID as well. There we go. And my product's going to have a PayPal ID. I think that's reasonable. I might have to have an Amazon ID also. And then it might have to have an NMI ID. Well, it could have potentially multiple of those. I guess you could have a lot of these. And so the question is going to be, no, it's going to be a limited number. I'm only going to integrate with so many, but it could also have a Google ID. I don't know. I don't think Google does it that way, but let's just pretend for a second. And then we're going to have, we're going to have a subscriptions table, and it's going to be, that's going to have some sort of a user ID. We'll call this FK, and then it's going to have a plan FK. No. I guess this could be wide like this as well. Or alternatively, yeah, I think that makes the most sense, is just to add the extra IDs onto the whatever table holds that information. And if it's null, then it's not, doesn't exist in the other place. I wonder if there's an extra comment, because what would be really nice that I don't see, that I want to go check real quick, is if I create a plan, is it possible for me to have a string that is a custom string from me? Nope. So there's no way for me to put my ID in here. But that's probably okay. Okay. All right, back to the main task again. Okay. All right. So we've got this bit. Oops. And this bit. Wait, did I copy that in the right? Oh, yeah. So product ID has to be a thing. Oh, okay, I get it. I didn't notice this before, but now I see. So you can set the trial period to be, so billing cycles, one billing cycle. Okay, got it. I guess I could put the ID in the description. Just to have it be so I could parse it out. Anyway, so we don't need to worry about content type. That can be, we're going to have a let headers just like last time. So we can have headers prefer equal to turn representation. Okay, we can have this be PayPal base URL. That's going to be URL. And I guess, yeah, we already have accept there. And then authorization, same thing again. It's going to be off user pass. Let me go back. Where's auth at? Yeah. And then PayPal request ID. So maybe the problem is that I didn't put the right prefix. Okay. So I could say if not ID dot starts with prod hyphen product IDs should start with prod hyphen. Okay. And then I could do a similar thing here. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. I might be wrong about that one. Okay, but yeah, it's showing. Let's see. I'll just put an example there. 18/06/2020 That looks like a date. And then the prefer, we don't need to worry about that. And then we just toss in the headers willy-nilly. And then let's see. I'm going to do the same thing here again. Product ID. Product ID. We're going to have name, description, yada, yada, yada. Okay, billing cycles. I don't think that I should do the trial period. Well, I don't know. Okay, so we need a plan. Intervals equals, and this is going to be month, day, year. I wonder what all that's available. Interval unit. Here we go. Interval unit. Day, week, month, year. Okay. So I guess could be bi-monthly. Is that what interval count means? Interval count. So it could be bi-monthly, bi-weekly, bi-daily. That doesn't make any sense. They should have said the subscription is billed once every 2 weeks if the interval unit is week. Okay, and I wonder what sequence means then. Not that this matters too much, but I'm curious. Okay, sequence. So this is just the index in the array. So, yeah, that could totally be omitted. Because whatever the billing cycles are, this, yeah. Yeah, so this should actually be cycle dot sequence equals to what is it? Oh, I forget. I plus 1. Sequence is the index in the array, which should never be out of order. Okay, and then tenure type is either trial or regular. Yep, either trial or regular. So I guess I could just say 10 years. Cool. Oof. Currency code. That's rough. Let's see. Pricing scheme. Fixed price. Yes?
Oh, are you working on it?
Yeah, but what's up?
I made a reservation. Let's go out.
Yeah.
7:30. At 7:30.
To Chili's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's 6. Will you... Well, let me go grab the mail real quick.
Okay.
Okay. I need to go grab the mail because there's also a gift in the mail. Okay. I'm actually taking a mail break, but mail breaks take about as long as bio breaks, as opposed to getting the door breaks take about as long as, you know. So I'll be back. And then we'll go through this a little more before we go out to Din Din. Okay. So, version of the pricing scheme, pricing model, volume pricing model, tiered pricing model, tiers, pricing tier, create time, update time. So I wonder what's the opposite of fixed price? Currency code. Okay, well, I kind of wish I knew what that meant. Because I mean, I get it. But I also don't get it, you know? Also, it's strange. I know, I guess it makes sense. It's a string because that way it guarantees that it is the correct value. I kind of think this should be done with integers, whatever. Sequence. So we got a 14-day trial, and then we have a year-long subscription, and total cycles is 0 for infinite. Yeah. And I wonder, I guess they have a way to apply discounts. Interesting. Okay. Well, PayPal does a lot of cool things, I guess. I think it'd be really weird if there was subscription tiers where, oh, whoops, I gotta take off my my break thing here. I think it'd be really weird if there was tiers where, say, you had a 14-day trial, and then you had a, well, no, it wouldn't be, because this does happen where you have a 14-day trial, and then your first 3 months are for $49, and then your next 3 months are for $59, and then the next 6 months are for $69, and so on and so forth. So this happens with Comcast, for example. Comcast, they reel you in with some sort of special offer where you get the first month for some amount, and the first 6 months for some amount, and the first year for some amount, and then you have to cancel. You have to call them up and cancel, and then resubscribe, or switch it into your wife's name, and then go through the whole process again, and then flip-flop again the next year. Otherwise, you end up paying double. So I guess, I don't know that it makes a lot of sense, but I can see why they support it, is because it is something that actually is done in the real world. Okay. So we're going to create a plan, is what we're going to do, and I guess for my purposes, I guess I just want to stick as close to the real deal as possible. So we're going to go billing cycles, and that's something you can pass in. Billing cycles. See, await plan.create billing cycles. Okay, so the ID should be prod hyphen. And then I guess we could give it whatever we wanted after that. Might want to have some reasonable defaults here. Tenure type sequence. So we could do plan.tenures.trial. And again, the purpose of that is just to prevent typos, really. I think it might be a little much, especially for JavaScript. And Go, well, the thing is with these types of constants is that oftentimes their names are, as you can see, quite a bit longer because they have a scope to them. But it's more clear to the reader where do I go in the code to find out what these things are. Oh, whoops, this would be interval. Sorry. Regular. Those are tenures. This is interval. So tenure interval. Blip, blip, blip. Interval type, interval unit. What? Okay, I'm a little confused, actually. Oh, because I messed up there. Got it. So that makes sense. I kinda would like to shortcut these just down to plan.day, plan.trial. I think that would be okay, but I'm going to leave it as is for now. Oh, goodness. And then currencies, of course. That is something that should be checked. And it's very reasonable to check it. There's, what is it, 200 3-digit currency codes. I actually have a project. I'm not sure if I have it on GitHub or my personal Git, but I have a project somewhere where I actually do have the little snippet of code that downloads the list. Somebody on GitHub maintains a JSON file that has all of the country codes. Oh, but this is a currency code. So I need the 3-digit currency codes. Again, I'm sure that somebody maintains 3-digit currency codes GitHub JSON. I'm sure that let's see. I wonder if datasets is maintained by, it's probably not. Data package core datasets, datahub.io, core data. These are some. I want to star or follow or something this. I want to interact with it in some way. Do I have to make my screen smaller or wider in order to get the button for that? There, I made my screen very small. Where's my button? No? They do have some interesting things here. I got some political things that I'm not so interested in, but so are the days of our times. Okay, currency codes. I'm going to go ahead and give that a star. Huh. Let's see, scripts, data. There we go. All codes, CSV, currency. Yeah, this is great. This is wonderful. Assuming that, well, we need the JSON from this. Like all codes, scripts, run all.sh. Where are they grabbing it from? So they're grabbing it from the XML, and then they're looping through. Okay. And all right. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I'd actually like to see the raw file, please. Okay, good. It's just comma delimited. Ooh, do we have any quotes in here? We do have a few special characters. Yes, we do. Okay. So a little trick that we could use, though. Oh, nope. Okay. There is potentially a trick that we could use, which is to pop off the end rather than index in, because the only thing that has quotes in it in this data set is the name of the country. And it's going to be, well, there's two ways to name the country. Or is the country and then it's the sub-country? What is this? Let me look at this data set again. Oh, it's the name of the currency. So we have the country and the name of the currency could have quotes. But what we know is that the last items in the set, they cannot have quotes in them. So that'd be a quick and dirty way to check on these. And what is this? Numeric code, alphabetic code. Okay. Well, again, I don't really need to worry about these currencies. Now this one's interesting because this was last active 9 days ago. But does he say where he gets the data from? That's the question. Because he's got the currency symbol, which is cool. Huh. Neato. Anyway, moving on. For my purposes, I would like to set some defaults. Billing cycles. So what do we have? Cycle dot, we know the sequence is something we want. Frequency dot interval. If we don't set the interval, okay, so if not the interval count, then it's equal to 1. If not total cycles, then total cycles is equal to 0. If not tenure type, that's equal to regular. Okay. What else? If not total cycles, total cycles is 0. What else? Sequence we're going to overwrite. And then pricing scheme. Oh yeah, I wanted to see there was some other information in that pricing scheme. Again, I'm just kind of curious about it. I don't need to know all the nitty-gritty details, but I like to. That's right over here, right? Okay. Okay, so it can be fixed or tiers. And volume, yeah, okay. I'm not going to worry about any of that right now because I don't need it. Okay, what else was it that I needed here? Taxes. I should look at that. I don't know how taxes work for services online. Taxes. Okay, let's see what taxes is about. Percentage, inclusive. Indicates whether tax was already included in the billing amount. Should say included. Well, inclusive is good enough. Yeah. Was tax included? Setup fee failure action? The action to take on the subscription if the initial payment for the setup fails. Seems kind of odd. Auto bill outstanding. So I guess first month free would also be a trial period. Okay, currency code. What was this? Value. That doesn't seem right. Go back. Wait, what was I just looking at? I was just looking at... Okay, we... Alright, I should put an example in there of that. Oh, auto bill outstanding. That's what I was looking at. Auto bill outstanding. And then setup fee. Oh, setup fee is just a currency code and a value. Okay. Payment failure threshold. Oh, that's nice. That makes a lot of sense. Suspend the subscription after in attempts. So auto bill outstanding. Auto bill outstanding. So I guess that's if they update. Initial setup fee for the service. So this is not actually clear to me Because I'm wondering if it's saying, because if they have a free trial, what does that mean? Oh, do we need to make the status of the plan active? Huh. Some of that stuff doesn't make too much sense to me. Do-do-do. To-do. All right, taxes, percentage. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. I'm going to have to do payment preferences and taxes. Payment preferences, taxes. Ba-da-doo. Ba-da-doo. Okay, and I need ID, product ID. So let's say let product equals, and really what I want out of that product create, I don't know if I care so much. There we go. So that's going to be product. And so we're going to take product dot. Oh, and what was the result on that? I think we need to go back to this one. Here we go. You said, where's product? Create product. We get back an ID. Good. All right, so it is product.id. Is what that will be. And then we want an ID. We're going to say the plan test plan 01. And then description can be test plan number 1. Oh, that's name. A great plan for pros of all ages. And what else? So we got the ID, the product ID, the name, the description. ID needs a comma. Okay. So it's going to charge the taxes. I got to figure out how the taxes will work for this. I probably just have to charge Utah taxes. I don't know. Is there taxes on services? There's taxes on everything. Of course there's taxes. Okay. And then we're going to need the same thing as all of this, but we're going to need it for the subscription as well. Subscription dot create equals. Oh, and I need to make sure that I actually, did I have async on that? This should be async. I don't know that I actually use, oh, there we go. Good thing I caught that. And then this is going to have a plan ID. An ID, a plan ID. What else will it have to have? Oh, this is where we're going to have to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to have to present them with links to confirm, right? Approve. Yep. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like that just fine. Wait. Now plan ID can have a P. What? This doesn't look right. What? Okay, well, let me just run this thing and see if the subscription works as is. I mean, not the plan works as is. I think I got it right. We'll find out momentarily. Okay, 214. Oh, of course. There we go. Interesting. So I think their examples are a little messed up in some way, shape, or form. All right, so what could be wrong here? Invalid request. Base URL looks right. Auth looks right. And then let's just go check oh, do I need to ID? But ID was supposed to be optional, right? I'm going to look at this other one. Well, I guess if I don't pass in the ID, that would explain why it wasn't being used. Oops. Oh no, I don't pass in the ID because the ID goes here. Right. Okay, what could be wrong? Let's take a look. Do I need to call something a toString? Frequency, do I have? Oh, Regorol. Okay. Good old typo. Come on, y'all. You didn't let me know that I misspelled regular? Let's make sure I didn't misspell week or month. All right, let's try again. Okay, that looks good. What? Usage type. Interesting. I didn't specify a usage type. Status, active. Should I specify status? Where do I go here? Oh, definitions. Oh, good. So they do have a list of the definitions. Oh, got it. Sweet. Okay, so plans. Okay, so we have product ID, name, status. All right. Thank you, sweetie. Active. What was the other one there? Inactive. All right. I need to hurry up with this. Description, billing cycles, required. Okay, so we do have here what's required and what's not. So that is nice. So taxes, quantity supported. Okay. Okay, does name is required, but description's not required. And status is not required. Okay. So name is required. So things that are required, I'll leave. It's not necessary to initialize to undefined. Blah, 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 blah. But I like the idea of being able to document it optional as such. Okay, cool. So that's all good. So that's all working. And then the next bit will be to actually create a subscription on a plan. Cool, cool. So I don't know if I'll get this done tonight or tomorrow, but I think the subscription. All right, well, I got to go for dinner. For those of you that joined in, thanks for joining in. For those of you that didn't, join in next time, of course. If you're not present, please raise your hand. Thumbs up if you got them. Thumbs down if you don't. If you like what you like, you get more of what you like. And if you do decide to subscribe, hit the bell for personalized recommendations so you get the good stuff. That's all I've got for now. If I give you 15 more seconds, well, 20 more seconds. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, go ahead and let me know now, or forever hold your places. Adios.